What's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Reach Home Recovery. I'm your host, Baron, and tonight we're going to be talking about an interesting topic, narcissistic evolution. And before anybody asks, yeah, I made that up, but stick with me. We're going to be a little creative tonight. So, in order to do that, I need you to tap into your imagination. So we're going to close our eyes and we're going to think about a predator, an apex predator, the biggest, baddest mofo you can think of. Think of the tools that predator has to hunt with. The speed and endurance, the razor-sharp teeth and claws, the vice-like grip from their bite, their ability to grapple and wrestle prey multiple times their size. Some of them have the ability to inject a venom that can take down opponents 100 times their size. Now that you have that image in your mind, I need you to understand something. Those predators adapted those traits by years and years of predatory evolution. So by watching their prey, by repeated failed and some successful attempts, they learned what worked best. And that's what got them to the point they are today. Now, if some of you already guessed it, in this scenario, the narcissist is going to be the predator and we're going to be the prey. Now, I get it. It doesn't put us in the most favorable of lights, but the narcissist is more like a predator that has his eyes on something that's too big for it to handle. But we're going to get into that until a little bit later in this video. Now, let's do the comparison between the predatory evolution and the narcissist adaptations. So with predatory evolution, we talked about a little bit. Some of that stuff they adopted from the previous generation. So they adopted some of those skill sets from the previous generation and they adapted some stuff for the here and now. That's the same thing with your narcissist. So what happened with your narcissist, a previous generation of narcissists, somebody that hurt them in the past, whether it be a parent, teacher, caretaker, friend, whoever it was, hurt them so deeply that they mistook that and they decided to take on narcissistic traits. So they've adopted what the previous generation did. Now the adaptation comes when they meet you. Now the only reason they're able to adapt is because at first, through our lack of knowledge, we leave an opening. So when they first see us, they identify us as supply because we don't have the foreknowledge of what these type of individuals are capable of. So that's step number one. Step number two is learning everything they can about you so they can adapt the best strategy to abuse you. Okay, now we got it. We got the adaptation. We got they have to leave an opening. We got that they have you in their sights. But like I said before, they bit off more than they can chew, and they're not going to be able to take you down. They're especially not going to be able to take you down in one swipe. They're not an apex predator. They're more designed like a snake. And what do snakes do? Snakes either use venom or constriction. We're going to say the narc uses both. In this scenario, here's what I'm going to liken their venom to. The snake produces that venom and injects it in somebody else. That's the same thing the narc does. They produce that toxicity, that negativity, and their goal through their abuse is to inject that into you. The physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual, verbal, it's all designed to impart in you a negative thought process, which slows you down and immobilizes you in order for them to continue to feed on your supply. So they want you to start feeling insecure, which is rooted from them. They want you to start feeling worthless, which again is rooted from them. They want you to start feeling all those negative traits that they feel so they can feast on you for the long term. That's their venom. Now, constriction. Where are we going with constriction? Let's talk about how a snake does constriction. What a snake does, when they wrap you up, when they wrap that animal up, as soon as that animal takes a breath out, it gets tighter. It sets a new pressure point to where that animal can't take any more air or any more of their life force in. Pay attention to what that narcissist does with their abuse. Two things here. They can't abuse you. They can't go full constriction right off the bat. You'll realize what's going on and you'll have the opportunity to back out of that thing. They have to indoctrinate you. And when I say indoctrinate, they have to slowly apply the pressure with the abuse more and more over time. As they're doing it, they have to isolate you. So here's what happens. When they start the abuse, they started the constriction, right? They started it. You're a little uncomfortable, but they're able to talk their way out of it. And what you don't realize is they set your abuse point or your ability to tolerate the abuse to a higher level, so they constrict more. And when they're constricting more, they isolate more. So this keeps happening in cycles. They set your abuse tolerance higher, they constrict more, keep the abuse tolerance there, and they keep constricting, keep isolating till you're at a point where you're not around anybody that can help you, and you're not able to take in the life force that you need to keep moving. Immobilization, which gets them to the point where they want to feed. Now, I was going through all this. I was like, man, how can I liken this to the Bible? And then it hit me. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. I'm getting good. I don't even have to go in it now. It says, be of sober mind. For the adversary, the devil, roams around like a lion seeking who he can devour. And then I looked back at the notes that I was writing for this video, and I picked up on something that I didn't pick up on before. He said, the adversary roams seeking whom he can devour. So he's not great and powerful. It's not just, I see you and you're going down. There has to be an opportunity, an opening. You remember what I said before? And then the first part of it, be of sober mind. And I started to think, I hadn't heard so many people talk about that part before, but that's pretty much the game plan to avoid the adversary. Be of sober mind. Understand your enemy. Understand the tactics. And when they walk past you, seeking to devour you, they don't have an opening to get to you. Man, I loved it. I had to read it back and forth a couple different times. But then I started to think, even if you did get snatched up, like I did, and if you're watching this video, probably you did too. Like I told you before, the enemy eyes was too big for them. Their eyes was too big for their stomach. So essentially, they couldn't handle you. It was a snake trying to take down an elephant. Now, what happened was we might have stayed in relation, but as soon as we noticed the abuse, we just kind of looked down, stomped them out. With that memory, remember who they are, and we're starting to move forward and we're starting the healing process. Man, we're at the point now, get the information, heal somebody else, give somebody else that knowledge so that we can limit the pool from them to seek from. They ain't really got no power over you. So I need y'all to step into it. Now, that's what I have for my video tonight. I thank y'all for allowing me to fellowship with you. I love you, and peace.